Hi friends, it's Raj Sahu from South California. As you know, I've been uploading many videos, mostly on Christian faith, and today also we'll be discussing something extremely important, but this concerns everybody. God is God of everybody, not just of Christians. Humans give labels, this is Christian, that is Hindu, that is Muslim, that is Jew, that is Buddhist. For God, it's just one. Humans, and we are all His potential children. Potential is a word I used because that's what Bible teaches us. We are potentially His children, God's child, based on our obedience and based on our understanding, based on our choices. So we will dive into this straight. This is a very difficult topic to talk on, but by the grace of the Lord, Christ Jesus, who's my guru. He's my guru. All my teachings, or at least the summit of the teachings, are from Jesus. That's where it ends. Although I got all of it, the base is from India. And that's where the Vedas and the very basis of spiritual understanding was from India. But I got the finale, the completion from Jesus Christ. That's how it worked. But this is not about me. I don't want to talk about me, but what is. We have to understand where we are and what is the escape route. Why am I saying escape route? Because we are trapped here. I hope you have understood this in your life by this time, whatever your age is, that we are all trapped here on earth. It's like a little island where we are all trapped. Have you seen some movies where some people get trapped and there's no way out except there are clues? It's a game going on. But to understand what's going on, we have to understand from start to the end. So this is the guy behind all this is a good guy. He's not a bad guy. And that guy is God. And his intention is that we turn away from sin and turn to righteousness. Doing the right things right away. That is the difference between movies, Hollywood films, other movies, and God's movie, which is going on right now. You and I are part of this. We are both at this second trapped in this. Sorry, I'm using very authentic and genuine terms. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm just telling the truth. We are stuck here. That is the truth on earth for a reason. We are souls to begin with. This video will tell us who we are, why we are here, what is our destination, what is our future, and if we are trapped, like I'm telling you, what is the exit route, if there is any escape route, if you will. If there is an escape route, what is it? So these things we will be examining today. What is God to start with, alright? So, and know who we are. We are His children, our potential children. If we choose the path of righteousness. What is righteousness? Doing the right thing right away. Turning away from all wickedness. It's going to be a hard walk, friends. Now that I've exposed all that Pauline deception, Jesus never taught all that. Believe and go to heaven. He was talking of a hard walk. Pick up my cross, deny my flesh, follow me, put me before your father, mother, everybody else, your children. Matthew 10:37-38. He was talking very tough and the truth, as he always did. And because he's my guru, I've spent a lot of time trying to understand. He was telling us, as the Vedas to tell us, and mostly almost all religions, to turn away from wickedness, turn to righteousness. That, please write it down, is the first point. We have to turn away from wickedness to righteousness, and that's going to be a hard walk. It's not easy, or at least we should know. First of all, know you are we are together as let me give you two names as movies. Have you seen Hunger Games? That's what's going on. Little different though. Hunger Games, points at something like this. The guy behind is not a good guy, but this guy is good. That's the good news. Our guy is good. God is good. That's why his name is God. Probably for short for good. That's not his name anyways, but we call him God. We call him universe. So let's begin with this. What is the universe? Universe was created by God. What is God? God is the universe. He created it, and his part. Universe is part of it. That's in Advaita, in the yogis, the sannyasis, the seers, thousands of years back realized that God and universe are one. It cannot have been, it could never have been two, because it's too vast, endless, infinite. Both have the same properties, God and universe. Now there is I don't want to go into science, but I encourage scientists to tell me how is it that there is a law of karma. If this was a Big Bang theory and all that, why is there a law of karma that whatever goes around comes around? By this time you must have experienced it, right? It doesn't take much to understand that there is a law, in fact, in existence and operative, and that works on you and me. Whatever we do, good, bad, crazy, it all comes back to us. So we have to pay for it or reap a benefit. It's called the law of karma in India. This was written thousands, probably 7,000 years back. So 5,000 years back at least. So it was always there. They experienced it, we experience it. Nobody gets away. If there is a law, doesn't it occur to you there is somebody who made the law? There cannot be law in empty space. Think about it, friends. Everything points at the Creator, which is, if you have a problem with God, call him the Creator. If you have a problem with Creator, call him universe. Universe and God are one. Keep that in mind. And this God is good. Why is he good? Then why did he send us here? Because we are souls. S-O-U-L-S. Souls. We're part of him. Spirit. What is God? He's a spirit. Where is he? Entire universe. Does Bible say yes? Go to Ezekiel. The Hindu faith as it is says, so don't have to contest with them. It says that Brahmand and Brahm are one. Brahmand and God are one. Advait. As far as Christian faith, now, as far as Christian faith is concerned, I will tell you off the back, I've done a lot of study, a lot of sifting, in fact, not just study, deep study. And I have, praise God, revelation from the Lord Jesus Christ. Because finally it is the Spirit of God which helps you connect the dots. Now, these are the last days, friends. It's coming to an end. This earth is now coming to an end because of the human sin. This was prophesied not just in Christianity, the Judgment Day, but in Hinduism, Pralay, and everybody. Probably in other Qayamat in Islam. I haven't read Islam, but I can talk about the Judgment Day in Christianity, Hinduism. It's Pralay. It has to happen. It's God's day, and He takes charge. So these are things very important to understand where we are, and because see, I'm trying to encapsulate everything in the 1 hour video that we may understand where we are and what is needed. So without the law of karma, there would be madness, there will be craziness on earth, because as it is there is a backlash. We've seen that. I have experienced that. I hope you have. So there is somebody who has created all this. And again, coming back to why the creation and God are one, it's in Ezekiel 23:24 in Bible. Study that, friends. Read that. God says, am I God only of the earth? Do you think? Because we are very tiny. Earth itself is so tiny. If you go a couple of million miles, you won't see the earth with naked eyes from space. And with even telescope or whatever gadgets, it will be difficult to even trace earth. It's so tiny compared to the universe. That's God. Now Ezekiel 23:24, God says, do you think I am only here? Not. He says, where am I not? I'm paraphrasing. So So check that out, Ezekiel 23:24. He is everywhere. He is God who made the heavens. Heavens means universe. Remember that, friends. He made the universe and earth, which is part of the universe. And he has complete command. Alright? Hinduism goes even to the extent of saying it's an illusion. It's an illusion, the whole thing. While it is, then we'll go. So, because see, God says in the end, when New Jerusalem comes down, I'll make all things new. I'll recreate everything, will be new. So, we do not know, but Abraham also saw a vision where he walked through. Go to that section. Don't want to, because this will go to hours. I want to wrap this up in 1 hour. This could be a illusion. I don't want to debate on that, but somebody like Einstein agrees. He's very smart, smarter than you and me. What does he say about illusion? And this is what Einstein says, Albert Einstein, the great scientist. Reality is merely an illusion. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. So this is Einstein saying he's very, very smart. He gave the E is equal to mc square equation to mankind. So much he has contributed. He's a scientist. He's not a spiritual man like me. Yet he is, because he knew it. What does he say? Reality is merely an illusion. He found out that finally at the end of the day, who created this is so tech savvy, so huge, so enormous. He's billions, zillions, trillions of miles long. That's God, and multiplied by another zillions, because he's infinite. And yet he has love for you and me. Alright? He is the one who created and may have created an illusion, like a dream, which we feel as we go through it is real, may not be. I'm not here to debate that, but a man of the caliber of Einstein, when he says that, it has some meaning. So take that home, friends. And this was said by the Indian yogis thousands of years back. Life is an illusion. God is the truth. The creator is the truth. The creation is an illusion. They call it Maya. Alright? And the things which is going on is divine play. Leela. That's God's divine play. And Einstein seemed to understand what was going on. He says reality is merely an illusion, albeit a persistent one. That the illusion does not go away. It will not. So again, coming back to this video, there is a way out. So I will name two movies, guys. So I wanted you to just understand what is God. He's not sitting behind a tree looking at you, spying on you, nothing like that. He is everywhere. He is the spirit. He is rather a spirit, which is like a cloud all over the universe, and everything, every heavenly body, whether it's sun, moon, galaxies and whatnot, is within that. I know it's very hard to understand, but eventually and hopefully you will understand and get it and absorb it, that we live within that. Everybody has to. Where did he come from? Do not ask me. Bible starts in the beginning, God made. It starts with in the beginning God. The first 4 words are he was there. And through that is all existence, and seems to occupy the entire universe. Let's think of it as a massive cavity. The whole universe, billions, trillions, zillions, infinite miles. That cavity is occupied by the Spirit of God. God is not a human. He cannot be a 5 foot, 6 foot, 7 foot guy. He is unlimited. He is infinite, and he occupies everything. That means here, thank God for that. For those who love God, thank God. For those who do not, a problem there. That means he's here right now. Yes, he is. He's around me right now. Who's speaking through me? Him. He's love. That's the good part. But before I get emotional, sentimental, we'll come down to that later. Why is he love? And why did he want or expect righteousness? And why he would not let us free? We all quest freedom, right? We all seek freedom. We want to be liberated. We want out, right, of many situations. Many want out of here, like me. I don't like it here. And God says, Jesus says, whoever loves the world, the love of God is not in them. What he meant was that don't like the things because they are unjust, friends. It's unfair. I've come from a third world country. I've come from India. I've seen many other places, including America. There are some very, very disturbing sights here also. So it's by and large an unjust world. But there is no injustice beyond this. But we have to seek a way out. This is why this video is to help you understand that even a man like Albert Einstein is calling this world an illusion. I may be a fool, but Albert Einstein is not. He's smarter than most of us with an incredible amount of knowledge and understanding, right? Both of physical understanding, scientific as well as spiritual. Quantum physics also believes that the whole thing is an illusion. It could not have been. Yet it's like a dream, friends. While it's happening, it's real. We still have to get out, and He won't let you or me out of this dream. God. Why? Because He's love. Who says that? Check out Hindu Vedas, check out Christian. Now, ironically, I'm more well versed with Christian faith. I love Jesus, my Guru, so I've sifted the Bible. God is love. God is a spirit. Where does He say He's a spirit? Let's examine. See, Jesus gave us almost everything, but He scattered it because He wants us to study the Bible and absorb His teaching. Don't go to Paul. He was a deceiver, and that's why the churches are stuck. Believe and go to heaven. Believe. What is heaven? Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within you. Don't want to go that's a different topic. I'll plant links. Paul was a deceiver. He came with the express purpose to deceive. So you all believe and go to heaven. It's not going to happen. Jesus says not one of you will go to the kingdom of heaven unless you do the will of God. So you'll slowly realize, that's Matthew 7:21, by the way. You'll quickly realize that it does not work out. They know it now through my expose, my revelation, which is from Jesus Christ. All this teaching is coming from the Lord. I just love Him and He loves you. And it's not about becoming Christian. There was no word called Christian during Jesus' term here. The word came after. It was about love. It was about forgiveness. It was about compassion. It was about righteousness, turning away from sin, turning to loving compassion. He lifted the Good Samaritan up. Remember that story, Good Samaritan, if Christian viewers are watching. The Good Samaritan was not a Christian. He didn't have faith in Jesus. He was not even a believer. But because he had acts of loving compassion, he was a loving man at heart. He had a tender heart, full of love. He went out of his way, risked his life, picked up a dead man, almost a dead man, like a very injured, beaten up man, and saved his life. Jesus holds him high. So remember, there is no religion, nothing in God's world. It ends in love. That is the way out. Okay? So now we will quickly read. Where is it, so that I don't lose track? This is a very, very difficult video to encompass the whole story of humanity, God, and what governs us. It is God's powers, and rather His laws govern us. And His laws are righteous. They govern us. In one line, He simplified it, is the law of cause and effect, law of karma, as we say in India. And what we have experienced in our life, what goes around comes around. Remember, friends, if there is no God, no higher power, why would anything come around? What we do should become nothing, right? Just an event happened. No, it comes around and hits us like a boomerang. Sometimes with a reward. If you've been kind, it comes back to you. If you've been not kind, you've been mean, you've been crazy, that also comes back. So remember that if there is law of karma, there is a one who gave that and who holds that in his hand, so to speak, if he has hands, and it's everywhere in the universe. It's not just on earth. That law is eternal. We will get back what we gave, okay? So understand that. Again, coming back to where is it written in Bible that God is a spirit? John 4:24. Jesus says this. God is spirit. God is spirit. Now he's revealing God is spirit. He's not a guy. He's not a man. He's not an animal. He's not even a planet. We can worship this, but finally we have to understand that God is a spirit. We have to connect with that spirit. And good news is he's love. And that's why Kabir, the great Indian poet, the day he realized God is love, it's a realization and also requires extensive reading, study, scriptures. He realized, it dawned on him, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, the whole universe is love because God is love, universe is love. And he started dancing. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. Why did he start dancing? Because now he knew God is love, everything is love, it's all good, it's all okay. It's all brilliant, guys, but only for those who love to love. But for those who hate and do wicked things, this is really bad news. And we will come down to that, why it is bad news. Because the law of karma is in force. What goes around will come around. It will hit them and beyond this life. What ends in this life is the body. We are not the body. We are the soul inside the body. Even Hinduism clearly points out soul and the body. But even Bible says that. And again, it's scattered all over the word. You have to read the word to pick up these things. So where is it written that we are the body and the soul? I'll tell you where it is. It's Solomon sharing in Ecclesiastes. Solomon, which was again from the mouth of God, was using Solomon's mouth to share this in Ecclesiastes 12 verse 7. What does God say through the mouth of Solomon? At the point of death, and now he says, and let me read that again, friends. I will like to read both 6 and 7. That's Ecclesiastes 12, 6 and 7. Remember God, that Solomon is telling us. Remember God, before the silver cord is snapped and the golden bowl is crushed, before the pitcher is shattered at the spring and the wheel is broken at the wheel. In one line, what it means is before it all goes away, our life, everything we cherished, it's all going to go on the last day. Remember, friends, that's what Solomon is saying. But now please pay attention to the next one. The next verse is 12. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 7. Before the dust returns to the ground from which it came, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. So here he is in Ecclesiastes 12:7. God is telling us that the spirit comes from me, and that's eternal and will return to me. And Jesus says also that you can kill my body, but you cannot kill my spirit. So there are two things. We are two in one, spirit and body, but we are not the body. We live in the body, and it's going to die. It's going back to dust. That's what Solomon is saying. But the spirit is eternal, and it will go back to God. So this is something you have to understand. We are two in one. We are the body in which the spirit is. Oftentimes we consider body as us, and we make a huge blunder. The body will go back to dust. It was destined for that, and so was the spirit. But there will be a judgment, and the spirit will have to take the hammering or the rewards. It's up to us. Why is that so? Well, I didn't make the universe. I'm trying to explain what is and what will be. Remember, behind this is a very holy. Holy means only one word. Lest set apart and all these are deception. Holy means pure. God is very, very pure, 100 and 110%. So pure we cannot imagine. And that purity is love. It's incredibly good news, guys. This is what I'm sharing for those who believe in kindness, who believe in compassion, who believe in righteousness, who believe in love. And this love is not human. It is agape kind of love that is pure, unconditional, like a mother's love for her child. Child cannot offer nothing to the mother, but the mother loves her. Even probably the Father. That kind of unconditional love. We were born to turn away from, or rather expected to turn away from sinfulness and turn to loving compassion, where we step out of our selfishness as the Good Samaritan did, as Jesus did, as the saints across the world did. They helped others, oftentimes selflessly. That kind of spirit, because He won't let you out. We are trapped here. Understand that this earth is a trap. And it is got very well. I would like to now, moving on, hopefully you got the message till here. God is love, He is a spirit, He is everywhere, He is the universe. We are part of Him, very tiny, as a drop of ocean is part of the ocean, yet separated. Let's say a little bottle floating on the ocean. It has a little water, and that water is like the ocean, but because of the bottle, it is now separated. The bottle has to break, right? Otherwise the water is trapped and cannot have a free flowing waves like the ocean. So we are like that. But we do have all His DNA's characteristics of God, which He says that I shall make you in my image and liking. But somewhere down the road we disobeyed, and I don't want to go back in Genesis itself, and then the curse came upon us that we have to now choose kindness, we have to choose compassion, we have to choose love. That's the way out. I'm telling you again and again and again, we are trapped here. Why am I saying we are trapped here? We die and it's over. No, that's a big deception, friends. We don't go anywhere. The spirit goes to God, and based on what we did, you get a new life, a reincarnation. Is it mentioned in Bible? Yes, it was. Was it understood? No, or probably ignored. And I'll tell you where. But before I go into that, and that was Elijah the prophet was born as John the Baptist. Jesus says, if you're willing to believe, Elijah is John the Baptist. Now, you cannot deny Jesus. He was saying, and that means it opens up a plethora of possibilities, Pandora's box, if you will, that there was reincarnation. Elijah, who did not have a death, was taken away, came back as John the Baptist, and did die, because we all have to die. Whoever is born has to die. So he completed a circle in a couple of ways. Again, he's expecting you to pick it up. It's another thing that churches ran up, believe and go to heaven, there is no incarnation. What did they understand? What do they teach? But it's not the time for criticizing the churches. One day they will understand. They taught the devil's doctrine of deception of Paul, the 13th apostle, who could never have been, who came by his own proclamation. Jesus didn't appoint him. And all the teachings are basically of Paul. So that's not the subject. That's all provided in the resources, the links. Check that out. Coming back to it, the way out of this prison, the way out of this trap, I would like to name two movies, if you will. Hunger Games. Now, American movie makers are just fantastic. They have captured it. But remember, they were taking the knowledge from the East, from India mostly. They captured that, hats off to you guys, and showed it in an American fashion. So it's a nice confluence there, a nice combination of the East and West, as should have been. The spiritual knowledge was very heightened 5,000 years back in India, and the technology here is at the peak. Mount Everest of technology is here, and the combination was deadly. It was fantastic. They produced Hunger Games. Now, Hunger Games, in short, I was there with my two children, my two girls. They wanted to see. I saw it by fluke, else I wouldn't have gone to this kind of a movie. It's sort of a kids movie. It's not. It's got a lot of spiritual message in it, guys. And the message is this: people are trapped. They need to do certain things, otherwise they won't get out. It's a big trap. And that is what, now quickly coming back to our topic, that is what is going on. We are in a huge prison kind of a settings, and what is trapping us is our sin, as Jesus taught us, as God taught us. It's sin. What is sin? It's wickedness. It is unrighteousness. It is turning away from goodness. It is the opposite of love. Where do we know that? We know it in Proverbs 10:12, 1 Peter 4:8. What does Solomon say in Proverbs, or rather the Proverbs say by itself, 10:12? Love covers all sin. Love covers all sin, everything. So remember, love is the opposite of sin. Here is the full spectrum. Here is evil. The extreme side, the opposite of evil is what? Love, unconditional love. So you get the point, guys. Why was Jesus teaching again and again and again? Learn to love. Turn away from wickedness, sin, and turn to love. Where does he say? I'll quickly read out to you, or rather paraphrase so we don't lose too much time. He says in Matthew 22:37-40, what does he say? Love God with, this is the great, he says, these two are my greatest commandments. And he says that in Matthew 22:37-40, love God with all your heart, might, and soul and strength, and love your neighbor, fellow human being, as yourself. When you do this, you fulfill, you complete all the law and the teachings of the prophets. What he's saying is the whole summary, the whole teaching of Bible rests on one word: love. Love. And the word we use in India is a more expressive word. It's called karuna. Karuna is a combination of three words: love, compassion, empathy. And that's what the Good Samaritan had. That's why he was saved. Now I'll take you quickly down to Matthew 25. Matthew 25:31-46, where Jesus says very clearly that this is the judgment day. This is what's going to happen. And Jesus comes down this time as a judge, fury. And power is his now. He's not the gentle Jesus, because now he's the King Jesus. And he's going to rule and judge without any kind of bias or partiality. He does not care who's a Christian, who's otherwise. He judges only by one metric. You check it out, guys. It's given by Jesus, not by me. It cannot be changed. It has to happen. It's the last day vision. And the churches never taught us, right? They didn't understand. They didn't teach us. As the blind led others to blind, and both fall, as Jesus predicted. So depending on Pauline doctrine, they didn't teach us all this. But the last day Jesus tells us on the last day, Matthew 25:31-46, only one metric was used, and that was acts of loving compassion. Whoever had karuna, like I said, karuna means loving compassion, empathy, feeling the pain of others. Whoever had acts, works of loving compassion were lifted up. Others were all summarily rejected, condemned. Guys, it's one way of saying. That's why Jesus again and again said to practice love. Then he says, Matthew 7:12, do to others as you would want them to do to you. Do to others as you would want them to do to you. Why did he say that? Because he himself explains, the loving Jesus, kind Jesus, that the entire law and the teachings of the prophet hang on this. Now what he's saying is, this is the essence. Do to others. What do we want others to do to us? By the way, I want to be loved and respected. So Jesus is saying, love others and respect it. If you wish to be loved and respected, he was pronouncing the law of karma, friends. It's all over the Bible, everything. What you sow, you shall reap. The measure you use will be measured up to you. If you do not forgive, you shall not be forgiven. I cannot read the whole Bible. It's all about the law of cause and effect. It's a very, very impartial, wonderful, beautiful law, because God does not judge us. Our karma, our actions will judge us. And that's what Jesus was saying in Matthew 25:31-46. In the goats and sheep future vision of judgment, he will use only one metric: acts of loving compassion. Why was he using acts of loving compassion? So he could return, it could return to you what you've given. On the last day, you will be loved as you gave love to others. As you turned away from sin and turned to loving compassion, so shall you be taken away from this wretched world called earth and taken into his world, which is all about love and compassion. That's why Kabir dance, I'm just giving you one name, it's full of it. Krishna, Ram, they all taught us to love, and that was the main teaching, the very center stage teaching of Jesus Christ, the very primary teaching, the very focus was love. That is what Jesus taught us, and that is what we are expected to do to break this through this terrible Hunger Games kind of a scenario we are in. Now I explained and I got a little digression. I digressed a little into all this, but these are very important pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, and I hope you are making good sense how we are in this trap called earth, and how Jesus Christ told us there is reincarnation, and if it applies to John the Baptist, who was reincarnated from Elijah the prophet, so can we be. Remember that. These are clues he dropped everywhere. Nobody in this world can deny Jesus' teaching. Not one church can say it is not the case. It is. And I've given a link. There are so dramatically similar features between story of John the Baptist and Elijah. They were one people, one soul, and that was also predicted by God. I will send a messenger ahead of you, and Jesus says that guy, that was Elijah. Father God says, yeah, I said Elijah before he came as John the Baptist. Now that means we have a possibility of reincarnation. This is written in the Bible. You have to catch it. You have to catch all the clues Jesus was spreading around. And that's by studying and then praying to the Holy Spirit. That's what helped me. So it's impossible to connect the dots. So we are here, and we are not going to escape this trap even if we die. Some people think I'm dying and I'm dead, and when I'm dead I'm done, finished with this world. No. What happens is, like God says, the spirit to, like Ecclesiastes 12:7, spirit to God who made it, and body to earth from where we came, dust. So don't think you will get away. You cannot. The law of karma is still operative. Your soul is still alive, and you will have to go through a horrible testing again. If you have chosen to do the wrong things, there is no escape. As the bottom line, friend, there is absolutely no escape, except one, which I am repeating again and again. That was kind of God to do it for us, that He allowed us an escape route, if you will. What is that escape route? I said love, compassion, karuna, loving compassion, loving dash compassion, acts of loving compassion. Why? God is love. Where does it say? 1 John 4 verse 8, 1 John 4 verse 16. God is love. Whoever does not know how to love does not know God, for God is love. That metric cannot change. He's forever. He's the one who created. He rules, and it's His rules. Don't we see dad in the house, the mom writing, my house, my rules? We are in His house, guys. We cannot, and that's a huge house. It's trillions, zillions of miles long, but He has given us a way out. His rules are what? Turning away from sin, turning to what? Loving compassion. By believing in Jesus, it meant nothing. Check out Matthew 25:31-46. He rejected a lot of them who believed in Him but had no acts of loving compassion. He doesn't want them. On the other hand, Good Samaritan was saved when he didn't even know Jesus, right? So we have to understand that unless we learn to love, unless we have acts, works of loving compassion in our life, we are willing to help others, not just ourselves, not be just self-absorbed, self-serving, but look beyond us at others also, and turn away from sin and become love. Then what do? You reflect God as moon. What is moon? Cratered satellite kind of a thing. piece of rock, if you will. It's very ugly, but it reflects the sun and becomes very beautiful. So are we created, we are flawed, but if we reflect His glory, you understanding? There was this we are supposed to understand. Everything was made for us to understand. Everything from the trees which live a life of selflessness, giving fruits to everybody, shade to everybody. They're all teaching us. What are they teaching us? Learn to love, learn to share. And that is the route, that is the way out, that is the exit way from this Hunger Games kind of a scenario. It's ugly, it's deadly. Why is it deadly? Because if we do something ugly and even get away through whatever means and die, and we think, oh, it's over, I'll never be back, so you're fooling yourself. Like Elijah came back as John the Baptist, and we know reincarnations there, so many are recorded, thousands of them are there as proof, even on earth. We will still come back. Now what happens when we come back? Now we have the load, the burden of karmas. It's debits and credits. If you have good and not good enough, you still come back, but with good, you have a better chance. Some people are already elevated spiritually. These are those people who just missed the mark, and yet they did, and they are back for a second lap. Do you want to come back, friends? Is an honest question. Do you like this world? Do you want to come back here and then be born again? And that's what Buddha was also teaching, wasn't he? Why do you want to come back here? Why do you want to be so attached to these illusionary things of cars and wealth and people, and everything is going to go. If they don't go, it will be snatched away. Either you lose them or they're snatched at that point of death. Either way, you lose them. So what is so great? You're born and then you die, and between them, a whole lot of trouble. When Bible says, little is the life and so much is the trouble, paraphrasing, there's a lot of trouble. I don't want to come back. And that's why Jesus was talking about salvation, what is called as mukti, moksha. In India, Buddha called it nirvana. These are the same things, guys. And all of them will point at one word, karuna, loving compassion. Alright? I hope you got the message. We are in a Hunger Games like situation. There is God above us, and He's a wonderful God because He's a hard teacher of love. If He doesn't teach us to love, we will continue to do the wrong things, the bad things, and keep coming back until we learn to love. Now there is a beautiful movie, again an American film, a movie which catches all the teachings of the East, or teachings of Jesus. Jesus's teachings were camouflaged, or rather covered or eclipsed by Paul's teachings of deception. He was from the devil, and in fact only devil was taught in the churches. That's a paradox, that's a irony. Some other days I will teach on ironies and paradox. It was supposed to be like that. As the Jews, once Jesus came to save, they ended up crucifying, so did the Christians ended up crucifying the doctrine of devil, and the doctrine of Jesus Christ. They ended up teaching the doctrine of devil. That's what being taught in churches, because they teach believe and go to heaven, no obedience required, no love required, nothing. But that is not the message again of this video. Is the whole structure of this world. Who is God? He is infinite. Who are we? We are His spirit in infinitely small size, but we are carrying His DNA. We are part of Him, and we have the potential to be His children, co-heirs, literally, to everything He owns. When God says the harvest rather is plenty, but the workers are few, He meant that my universe is so vast. I need people, I need my children, I need you. But for that you have to qualify. You have to come good in your exam. So friends, coming back, I hope you don't want to come back into this world again and again, and then go through the cycle of being born and kicking and crying. You come, and then somebody, good, bad, or not very good families, and then who knows where we are raised, what happens. But we again, and this will come back. What you have today, this opportunity will come back. Why not today? Do you want to suffer again, or do you want to grab this opportunity? Seize the moment. Practice loving compassion today. turn away from sin, forgive all guys, and turn to righteousness, practicing loving compassion, karuna. I will repeat that again and again, because like you, I also wrestle with it, I also struggle, but yet I tell myself, remind myself, I have to do it, friends, and it starts growing, and God's Spirit joins with you, starts making roads easier, more walkable, and finally we become love. And I will quote John before I quote this movie, and we'll end up with that, the Groundhog Day. I'll quote what was the final message of Bible. See, this is the summary of, I'm going to keep it short, friends, but you will have to read some Bible yourself. If not, try to just practice loving compassion and you will do it. This is what John says in 2 John 1 verse 6. And this man was very, very close to Jesus. He was not like Paul, who came from nowhere. This man spent a lot of time breathing the same air as Jesus. In fact, Jesus put his head on his chest on one occasion. He knew Jesus very, very closely, and this is what John says. And this is love. He's explaining what is love. Keep this in your heart, friends. This will help you. 2 John 1 verse 6. And this is love, that we walk in obedience to his commands. What were his commands? We just discovered that his greatest command was love God, love the fellow human being. His commands were love. And what does John say? We walk in obedience. He's saying walk in love. And then he makes it even more clear. As you've heard from the beginning, his command is that you walk in love. This was the command from the beginning, John says. So this is the very summary, that we walk in love. We turn away from sin. We become different creatures, guys. It's so beautiful. Why don't you try it? We've had enough of hate. We've had enough of revenge, anger, what not, and grief, everything. It just vanish into nothing when the love starts welling up inside our hearts. Try it, friends. I beg you. I have tried. I've tried to walk away from this. It's not easy. It was a very hard call, and yet made so supremely easy. What was the requirement? One word: love. Can't we do even that? When you turn to love, you, as it is, start dropping all this hate, rejection, vengeance, and all the bad stuff, sinfulness and wickedness. When you walk in love, all these start falling off our bodies. As the let's use the thing like thistles fall off, or some kind of things, bad stuff from the body starts falling off. I'm not getting the right word, but you understand, as Paul lied, scales fell off his eyes. Nothing happened like that. There were no witnesses also. So similarly, dirty things start coming off. The sinfulness starts going away when we walk in love. That was the message of Bible. Now I will end up with this, friends. The Groundhog Day. Now this movie captures the gist of what I am teaching, or rather sharing with you, what the Lord taught I'm sharing. It becomes very easy when we have a audio visual, right? Like a movie. So please do not forget to watch Groundhog Day. I do not know what the movie makers thought when they made it, but God has these little games He plays with us. In one of the movies, He'll put His story. You have to catch that. And after this revelation happened, then I caught that even better. It's called Groundhog Day. It was starring Bill Murray. What happens is, Bill Murray is a jerk. He's not a good guy. He's a mean guy. He's a nasty guy. But he gets trapped in a time warp. Sorry, I don't want to give out the end, but for those who may not see, I have to share with them. And he gets trapped into a time warp, in the sense that every day he wakes up and the day is repeating. Now this is, of course, fiction, but sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. So he gets up again and again on the Groundhog Day, and he sees the same events happening again and again and again. So he wonders what the heck is happening, why is this, and he gets badly stuck. Now this repeats throughout the movie. He gets up again, and every day when he sees that has a different end, and he gets frustrated. The thing is, they picked up, the movie makers, was from reincarnations, that you come back to the world. There was this movie called Dog's Journey, something like that. Check that. That's also like us. It's the same story. We're born again and again and again. Now this is about human story. We are born again and again. Why? Because we haven't got it. We didn't get it. We didn't get the right thing. We didn't do it. We didn't practice loving compassion. So we are born. And that birth can be used and will be used to pay off all our debts of every sin or every negative karma we did. We'll have to pay. And it's ruthless, that law of karma. It doesn't care who we are. It just gives back to us what we did. While doing bad things, we don't realize, but when it comes back, it's harsh and hard to bear. So don't do it, friends. That is the story of Groundhog. This guy Bill Murray gets trapped into, as we are trapped here, he's trapped into one day, which keeps repeating, and he's frustrated. How do I get rid? He kills himself at one time. He comes back. I got the message. You kill yourself, you'll be back. Now with an added baggage. Now you killed yourself, so you killed the body I gave you. Now pay more price. So you come back with a bigger weight. It's not gone away. It's still there. In fact, the weight has increased. Remember, friends, and again I will tell you, we are in a Hunger Games sort of a scenario, and the Groundhog Day, if you don't want to study great literature, read that. I will give out the end. Those who don't want to see that movie, they will get from me. Finally, he gets a release, Bill Murray, and he doesn't know how, he doesn't know why, but he does it unconditionally. That's the word, unconditionally. He gets out of his selfishness, his nastiness, his meanness, and he saves the life of a man on the streets, a homeless man. While he's dying, he kisses his mouth to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, or whatever you call that. He revives that guy because he has love in his heart at that moment. He is a chained man. He doesn't care for his life. He wants to help that guy live, survive, and he practices loving compassion unconditionally. And voila, next day is not the same day. He's out of the time warp. Pretty much is the message for us also. This they picked up from the scriptures. They were already there for 5,000 years. Nobody pays attention. We get so engrossed in this magnificent illusion, as Einstein says, it's an illusion, right? Albeit it's very pertinent, where Albert Einstein says reality is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. So it is what it is, friends. We cannot change. We are too tiny to change anything. We can change ourselves. This is what Gandhi said, right? And he picked it up from where? From Luke 10:37 by Jesus. And you be that person, he tells the teacher of law while the Good Samaritan story he's teaching. Whoever said whatever, we have to change. We have to be that change. And what do we change to? Loving compassion. What do? We reflect the glory of God, who is what? His love. I've shared all that. He's the Spirit, He's love. He's in charge. He's got absolute command. He's around you, inside you, outside you. What you breathe is Him. What you eat has Him mixed in it. He's just, because He's a Spirit. Understand, He will talk to you. He will explain. He will make a communication. Once you become aware, that's the important thing of everything going on. So here in a small video, a tiny video of 1 hour or less, you now, I hope I've been able to communicate how this world operates. There is God, there is the Creator. We are just a tiny, earth is very tiny and we are very tiny of earth, but we do carry His Spirit. We have the potential to love, and that is what He's looking for. And love and compassion is, and it is love and compassion which will help us get an exit, so we become part of His kingdom and His being. It's called Satchitananda in India, where love, awareness, and bliss all combined together. Awareness, truth, and bliss. That's Satchitananda. In Jesus' terms, we are saved, we enter His heaven. It's the same thing. We'll be aware, we'll have eternal happiness there, because now we have chosen to love. Now we are part of Him rather than against Him. When we choose to hate, when we choose to sin, we become opposite. We become a cancer to His universe, which is love, because God is love. I hope you've got the message, guys. It's all about love. And if you don't want to come back here again and again, practice love. I don't care how hard your situation is. When you choose to practice love, the universe joins with you, and you will start seeing rapid changes in your life. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.